Hi everybody. Today I want to talk a little bit about the cases opened against the people who are, accused of insulting President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. In fact, I had written an article about this topic, and it was published in Daktilo 1984 website. So today I want to talk a little bit about this issue. The shortcomings of democracy and how the principle of freedom of speech is weak in Turkey. So I want to talk a little bit about these issues. I want to share my screen to show you the article that I have written for Daktilo. So you can see my article. The title of it is an analysis of unending persecutions, the crime of insulting the president. This article was published in late June, and in fact, it was firstly, it had the format of a fully fledged academic article. I sent it to a good journal, and it was not accepted. Then I changed my mind and I tried to, revise it as an online art, as an article for an online platform. So I want to talk about my article today. Introduction. In the introduction part, I talked a little bit about the freedom of expression and the importance of a free and independent judicial mechanism in liberal democracies. We know that in democracies, citizens have a right to express their opinions without the fear of severe punishments on political issues like the criticism of officials and the prevailing ideology. And in this article, I try to analyze the cases open against people for insulting President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. It can be argued that the opening of these defamation cases is an extension of a tradition of targeting freedom of expression, as well as being a reflection of growing authoritarianism and the collapse of judicial independence in Turkey. So, uh, the first thing that I tried to address in the article was the situation of freedom of expression in Turkey. We know that there are some legal obstacles in exercising our freedom of expression in Turkey. Before that, I briefly talked about the legal structure of Turkey. The 1982 Turkish Constitution's Article 26 regulates freedom of expression, and according to Turkish constitution, everyone has the right to express and disseminate their thoughts and opinions by expression in writing or in pictures or through other media, individuals or collectively. So yes, in the paper there's freedom of speech, but while exercising this freedom, there are certain problems in practical terms. What are the main legal obstacles? For example, Article 301 of the Turkish Penal Code. This prohibits insulting Turkey, the Turkish nation, and national heroes such as Atatürk, and it was repeatedly used to curb freedom of expression. Also, the Prevention of Terrorism Act is another legal obstacle, to put a block in front of free speech. Uh, we know that in previous decades, most freedom of expression related issues were about the denigration of Atatürk and the territorial integrity of Turkey. But there has been a notable rise in the number of defamation cases filed after the election of Erdogan as president. The crime of insulting presidents. Article 299 of the Turkish Penal Code says that any person who insults the president of the republic shall be sentenced to a penalty of imprisonment for a term of 1 to 4 years. Where the offense is committed in public, the sentence to be imposed shall be increased by 1/6. The initiation of a prosecution for such offense shall be subject to the permission of Minister of Justice. But this is purely procedural, and we know that the permission of Minister of Justice, it's a procedural term. And it's important to note that during the era of Abdullah's presidency, the number of the cases filed under this article was only 858, but under the presidency of Erdogan, only in the year of 2020, more than 30,000 investigations were launched. only in 1 year we are talking about this. For example, there were some students who were accused of insulting Erdogan. In 2014, a 16-year-old student in Konya was arrested. 2 years after that, a 13-year-old student was sentenced to 1 year and 9 months of imprisonment over a Facebook post that he posted. So I want to make a summary about this. Students is one of the groups who have been, some of them were put behind bars and some of them were just, had to go to the court, to get for the investigation. Another group is artists. Artists have been the other group being targeted by the cases filed under Article 2099. For example, a sculptor, Mehmet Aksoy, was convicted for insulting Erdogan. Also, pianist Dengin Ceyhan in 2017 was detained with the same charge. A very distinguished actor, Müjdat Gezen, who is almost 80 years old, was summoned to give a statement to prosecutors after the statements he made about Erdogan in the opposition TV, Halk TV. Also, Genco Erkal, another artist, gave his testimony in an investigation concerning charges of insulting the president. Also, in terms of family relationships, there's a very strange thing that I want to say. A man filed a legal complaint against his wife on the grounds that she insulted Erdogan. According to news reports, the man had warned his wife not to curse Erdogan, but when he appeared on television, but she defied him. Then this guy, filed a legal complaint against his wife. Really funny story. We know that social media has been one of the arenas through which the crime of insulting the president is allegedly committed. Twitter, has been one of these platforms. There were, many people from time to time. They have to go to prison, or they have go to talk with the prosecutor on grounds of, offending, being offended of this insulting case. For example, I can say one about this. It's the case of lawyer Afgan Bolaç. Bolaç was put on trial for insulting Erdogan due to the Carlos Latif cartoons he shared on social media. The first hearing of this case will be held in September 2022. On the other hand, the figures in the political opposition group also face accusations of insulting the president. For example, two deputies of Republican People's Party, Engin Özkoç and Aykut Erdoğdu, a probe was launched against them because of some of the comments that they made on TV. Yes, journalists are the other group who have been, suffering from these cases. An example is the case opened in 2015 against writer Perihan Maden. Maden was accused for an interview in which she described Erdogan as a wild tiger and like a wild animal trapped in a corner. In fact, this is like, this is a word trick. Shows she's a writer and also she is very good at literature. So she made an analogy, but then unescapably an indictment was stated, and it stated that Perihan Maden's statements was not criticism, that they must be regarded as insult. Another case was about the lawsuit against the distinguished journalist Hasan Cemal. Another one is Sedef Kabaş. Kabaş was detained for insulting Erdogan, and she was also sent to prison, despite not naming Erdogan directly in a proverb saying, when the ox comes to the palace, he does not become a king, but the palace becomes a barn. So Kabaş stayed almost, yes, approximately 49 days under arrest because of these statements she made. So I don't want to keep this video very long. But there's an important thing that I want to say, and this reference belongs to Cem Tecimer. Cem Tecimer is a scholar of law in United States, I think, and he says that the crime of insulting an ordinary citizen is punishable by imprisonment from 3 months to 2 years, according to Article 125 of the Penal Code, whereas if the same crime is committed against the president, the imprisonment is from 1 year to 4 years. So there is some kind of, problem here. So the laws automatically defend the president in a more, tense way, while compared to the ordinary citizens. Conclusion. So in the conclusion part of this article, and I'm going to put the link of the article also behind the video, below the video, we can say that the cases opened against people for insulting president reveal the growing authoritarianism in Turkey. What kind of authoritarianism? So I don't want to talk about this authoritarianism. We all know that after the failed coup attempts and after, transition to the presidential system, many changes have happened in Turkey, and one of them directly related with democracy. And the people who have faced trial for insulting Erdogan include politicians, journalists, academics, school children, artists. And we can say that nowadays the judiciary system is used as a tool of pressure and punishment on society. Yes, of course, I don't believe that we should not insult anyone, but the distinction between criticism and insulting is so vague in Turkey. So if you criticize the ruling elites, then the prosecutors automatically, will label you as someone, criminal. Sorry. But as last verse, I can say that if you allow the judiciary system to be used as a tool of punishment, one day this tool of punishment can also be used against you when you lose power. Sorry for this. Anyway, I just wanted to share my article about this insulting stuff, and I want to make a brief talk about it. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I wish you all a good, great summer holiday.